All right, good morning, PT on Ice Daily Show. We are here on Instagram. Facebook has crashed as usual. Give us 1 second here to try Facebook one more time. I know that nobody uses Facebook anymore. Nope, Facebook is gone forever. Okay, we will just rock it here on Instagram Live. Welcome to the PT on Ice Daily Show. This is Thursday morning. This is Leadership Thursday. I am your host, Alan, here to talk with you about all things leadership. I have the pleasure of serving as the Chief Operating Officer of ICE and also as a faculty member in the Fitness Athlete Division. On Leadership Thursday, we talk all things clinic management, general leadership, but also on Thursdays, we talk about Gut Check Thursday. This week, pretty straightforward, 10 rounds for time. 10 burpees and 10 box jumps. So no chance to really rest, no justification in that workout to have rest available. Just a great way to jack your heart rate up and get a quick little workout in. Throw yourself down, jump up, jump on a box, repeat for 10 rounds. Some stuff coming your way from ICE. We just closed virtual ICE registration for this quarter, so that registration will open again in September. If you missed out, shoot us an email. We'll get you added to that reminder list. We have an amazing lineup for this next year of virtual ICE that is starting this week, that already started this Tuesday, kicked off by Jeff Moore. A lot of great guests, so make sure to check out virtual ICE and get signed up for a reminder to jump into virtual ICE the next quarter that opens up this fall. A couple courses are coming your way. We have 2 online courses starting soon. Rehab of the Injured Runner with Jason London and Megan Peach starts July 6th. That's 8 weeks online, learning how to help out the runner. And then July 12th, Clinical Management Fitness Athlete Advanced Concepts starts with Mitch and Zach. That is your next level course beyond Clinical Management of the Fitness Athlete Essential Foundations, where you will dive much deeper into gymnastics, Olympic weightlifting, programming, and getting much more dialed in with helping out the CrossFitter, the Olympic weightlifter, and the powerlifter. Some live courses coming your way. Your next chance to catch us live is at the end of July. So we do have a bunch of courses coming up between now and then, but unfortunately a lot of them are private and closed to the public. So our next public courses available are going to be the weekend of July 24th and 25th. So you can catch Jordan Berry out in Santa Barbara, California for lumbar spine management, or you can catch Justin Dunaway for total spine thrust manipulation. That will be in Hopewell Junction, New York, which is kind of up right on the border with Connecticut. So check out those courses that weekend. And then the next week after that, July 31st and August 1st, we have 2 chances to catch Fitness Athlete Live. You can join Zach Long down in Miami, Florida, or you can catch Mitch Babcock in the Midwest in Kansas City, Missouri. Again, that's Fitness Athlete Live. And then before we jump into today's topic, I just want to take a moment. You're going to see a post come out today at noon highlighting Project Onyx. We've been supporting Project Onyx for a while, but we're excited to announce some cool stuff coming up in the month of July with Project Onyx. So check that post out. That's going to get made today from the ICE accounts, coming your way at 12 noon Eastern. Learn a little bit more about Project Onyx and the folks who run Project Onyx, and then we'll be teasing a little bit about the announcement we're going to make towards the end of July. So check out Project Onyx and take a look at that post later today. Let's get into today's topic. We're talking about treating to your passion. What do we mean by that? We're talking about, in physical therapy, kind of how we're expected to be masters of everything, of every body system, every joint, every muscle, every condition, every sport, and maybe how that is unrealistic and maybe unsustainable across the span of a career. So I want to start from the top and just talk about, is it feasible for us to be experts at everything? So reflecting back on what I learned in school, I certainly learned a lot of stuff, and very little of it is stuff that I use every day in clinical practice now. Certainly we learned a lot of anatomy and a lot about joint mechanics, but we learned a lot about passive modalities and different stuff that is just not what is often used by those of us in clinical practice. And even then, even if we did dial down and just focus on stuff we were going to directly use in practice, I don't know that 3 years is enough time to master every joint, every condition, every possible treatment that is out there. So starting from the top, I think it's just really unrealistic, and I think we're being too hard on ourselves to be expected to have mastered every possible thing that needs to be treated when a human being walks through our door. And I was just finishing a treatment with a patient earlier this morning before jumping on the podcast who happens to be an engineer. And we were talking about how segmented engineering is. Even those folks obviously on an assembly line are just trained in a specific thing. If we're making a car or making something physical in a manufacturing plant, the people on the line only know that thing in front of them. They are experts at that particular thing, of putting that bolt in, of setting this thing into place. They are master at it, but that's all they do all day, every day. The next person down the line has another task, and so on and so forth. And then engineering is very similar, that a production engineer, a fabrication engineer, a computer engineer, while all technically engineers, have very different job tasks and are not often cross-trained to do another job task. And they're not expected to be the master of everything engineering. They are expected to be the expert in whatever their particular lane and job task might be. And I think that's not reflected well in physical therapy of we're expected to have mastered every single condition that comes in the door. And it makes sense kind of that stuff can be missed, that when somebody comes in the door, we're expected to be a good customer service representative and greet them and make sure their initial experience and initial impression is good. We're expected to do a fantastic job, and especially more and more in a primary care role of screening these folks for a lot of red flags, discussing things like sleep and nutrition, on top of digging deep into our objective exam and looking joint by joint, motion by motion, muscle by muscle, tendon by tendon, at every possible thing that could possibly be wrong with this person, even more so if that person has multiple complaints of, I have shoulder pain, elbow pain, wrist pain, knee pain, ankle pain, or I was in a car accident and I have all these different things going on. We're expected to somehow be the masters of all that stuff, which again, I would argue is quite unrealistic. And that comes down to my second point, which if you're not passionate about whatever that ailment is or that treatment choice, you're probably going to lack a lot of equipoise there, which we know is very important to our outcomes. That if we are super passionate about the shoulder or the ankle, that when somebody comes in and has a complaint about their shoulder or ankle, if we feel like, hey, the shoulder is my jam, or I love treating low back pain, or I love working with older adults or CrossFitters, or I love to be in home health and getting creative with finding stuff around the house to get people moving, then we're going to have a lot more equipoise with that patient. We're going to build a lot more patient rapport, and we're really going to get a lot better outcomes with that patient. And the inverse is true too. When somebody walks in and they have something going on and we think, I'd rather not treat that, I wish somebody else here could treat that, then all of those outcomes are probably going to be a little bit lower. Our equipoise and confidence is going to be lower. We're going to have a tougher time selling that plan of care and really bringing the passion to that patient for their particular condition that they deserve. So the second point is very, very important, that with passion comes equipoise. I think of myself, I love to treat low back pain. I love to treat the shoulder. I love to work with older adults. I am not overwhelmingly crazy, surprisingly enough, about working with a CrossFitter, a higher level athlete. I don't mind it, but my jam is really if an older adult comes in with low back pain or shoulder pain, getting that person bending forward again, deadlifting, using their arm again, getting them landmine pressing. That's what I really enjoy, and not surprising, that's probably where a lot of my equipoise and confidence comes from. On the other end, when somebody comes in with neck pain or headache or jaw pain or an ankle or a hand, I'm the person that looks at the schedule and thinks, I'd rather not, right? I'm not super jazzed about treating those areas, and I'm much more likely to try and have somebody else in the clinic evaluate and take that patient on. And I don't think there's anything wrong with that. I think in especially busier clinics, we're again expected to somehow be masters and experts at everything from the day that we get to put PT after our name, and we are not expected to to be able to say no to those evals and say, I'd rather pass that off to somebody. And that comes to my third point of sustainability. I think our profession is very unique in that most of us are starting practice maybe in our mid-20s or the beginning of our 30s, and it's not surprising to see people practice into their 60s, 70s, and even 80s. So looking at the span of our career and saying, I'm going to be working probably every day, most days, for at least the next 30 years, that means I'm going to treat, not dozens or hundreds, but probably tens of thousands of patients in my career. What's going to be sustainable for me? Well, it's probably going to be more sustainable if I get to treat what I'm passionate about treating. Yes, it's probably unrealistic to avoid all the stuff that we don't want to see. And maybe the argument could be made that the stuff we don't want to see is probably stuff that should show up on our caseload every now and again. But when we talk about long-term career sustainability, if I walked in every day and I had 8 post-op ankle fractures on my schedule every day, that's going to get and start to feel really grindy. So I think it's important on the back end of those of us in leadership positions of clinics to make sure that we are working with our clinicians underneath of us to treat to their passion, of asking them, what are you really jazzed about treating? What treatment styles and methods and modalities are you really passionate about using? Would you like to get some more training in dry needling or spinal manipulation? Would you like to get some more education on working with older adults or the CrossFit athlete? Or hey, do you like working with golfers or runners? There's another population that I could leave, right? Runners. I'm not very passionate about working with runners. I personally hate running. But I can work with a runner. But again, given my choice, I'd rather have an older adult on my schedule. So I think that's important for those of us in leadership positions to ask our clinicians and check in. And those of us seeing those patients, I think it's important to also ask to sit down and have that conversation with our leadership of what would it look like for me to make my own schedule full of mostly people that I enjoy based on their diagnosis, based on their demographics that I would enjoy treating. And again, I think that comes down to the more passionate you are, the more equipoise and confidence you will have, and the more sustainable your career will be across the long term. If you come to work every day and you look at a schedule and you say, this looks like fun. I can't wait to work with Doris at 2 o'clock. I can't wait to work with Frank at 11 a.m. and help him with his shoulder pain, versus looking at a schedule and saying, this is a whole bunch of stuff that I'd rather not work with today. Not based on the people, but just kind of based on the conditions that they're coming in with, the treatments they may need. I think it's, again, very important that we are comfortable with treating to our passion and that we try to pursue that as much as we can. Obviously, if you run your own ship, that's a lot easier. You can say no a lot easier to different stuff or stack the deck in your favor. Those of you who don't, it's a little bit more difficult. But again, I think having that conversation is very important. So chew on that a little bit. Let me know your thoughts. What do you think about stacking your schedule with folks you really want to work with and trying to avoid having diagnoses show up on your schedule that you'd rather not? Is it important that we fill our schedule up with those people to get better at treating those areas? Or should we recognize that we can't possibly be the true ultimate expert in every single condition, every single joint, every single treatment out there, and we need to peel back a little bit and focus on what we're already good at and what we enjoy treating? So think about that. Shoot me your comments here. If you are on the podcast, you can check this out video-wise on Instagram, or I'll get it up on Facebook later. So I hope you all have a fantastic Thursday. Hope you have a wonderful 4th of July weekend. Make sure you hit gut check, find a picnic table to jump up on. You can do the burpees in the grass. Have a great weekend. I'll see you all next week. Bye, everybody.
Hey, thanks for tuning in to the PT on Ice Daily Show. If you enjoyed this content, head on over to iTunes and leave us a review. And be sure to check us out on Facebook and Instagram at the Institute of Clinical Excellence. If you're interested in getting plugged into more ICE content on a weekly basis while earning CEUs from home, check out our virtual ICE online mentorship program at ptonice.com. While you're there, sign up for our Hump Day Hustling newsletter for a free email every Wednesday morning with our top 5 research articles and social media posts that we think are worth reading. Head over to ptonice.com and scroll to the bottom of the page to sign up.